Hi, this is Mike Fry. I'm a CRM developer, mostly on the Microsoft stack, and I have this one-off client that wants to integrate their Paladin Point of Sale system to Wordpress or Woo under WordPress. So Paladin is a point of sale. It's got deep roots. I think most of the Ace hardware and lumber yards in the US use it. Very deep software. It's an older dated interface and it has a limited API. But they also have their own e-commerce package. From my understanding is that they charge 9% of your gross sales that come through e-commerce as the fee. So if you sell something for $100, give them 9, you keep 91, and there you go. But I have a client with about 5,000, 6,000 SKUs that didn't want to pay that much money for it. So we're integrating Paladin to the most popular e-commerce software in the world by far, and that's Woo, W-O-O Commerce. So this project is 4 steps. One is we call an API, we bring in the Paladin information to a database in Microsoft Stack, a CRM. It's basically almost a CRM database. Then we take that product and we enrich it. We go out to AI and we get pictures and we get longer descriptions. Paladin holds, and this is my understanding, like description number 1 is 28 characters, description number 2 is 28 characters, and then description number 3, field 3, is 64 characters, something like that. And for e-commerce, we need thousands. We need unlimited characters. So we bring that into we bring it into Microsoft, we enrich it with AI, we create the HTML content for each product, and then we push that out to WooCommerce, and there you have a storefront where you can display it. My contact information is mfrye, M-F-R-Y-E, at Azure Collaboration, A-Z-U-R-E, collaboration.com. My phone number is 240-277-3136. Feel free to text me if you have questions. This overview is very high level. I didn't want to get way down in the weeds because I don't know if this audience is one person in the US or more, and how many people would want to integrate Paladin to something like WooCommerce. So I don't know what the audience is like, so I spent just a short time documenting this at a high level. Anyway, I'm going to flip over and we're going to take a look at what we've done, show you out in WooCommerce what that looks like, and let me know if you have any questions. Thank you very much. Hi, this is Mike Fry, and today's August 14th, 2026, and I'm working on this Paladin to WooCommerce integration, and here's the status of what I have. And let's look at it by processes here. So these are my cloud flows that do certain things. I have the ability to bring in the data from Paladin. So using the API, we've brought in about 6,000 products. I go through those products, I load Paladin up. I merge the vendors because Paladin doesn't give me who the vendor is, so I have a spreadsheet out of Paladin that tells me for this product it's this vendor, and I merge that into the database, which you'll see in a few minutes. The next thing I do is I do it through a batch process. So on the forms here I can say, hey, go ahead and take these products and let's do research on them. So let's see, I'll pick 3 products. So I could pick 3 or 1,000, and I'll say, hey, go ahead and create the AI research or rebuild the HTML or push it to Woo. It depends on what status it is. And then I have an all-in-one that goes out to the product that gets the AI research. Then it creates the HTML from that research, and then it finally pushes it to WooCommerce. So that's what's going on there. It basically happens in 4 steps. I load from Paladin, that's step 1. I load the vendors, I merge those into the product, and then one by one, product by product, I initiate the AI research. When that's complete, I build the HTML that's going to go to Woo, and then I push it out to Woo. That's basically what this does. The forms are the actual processes that can run in mass from the form. When I'm in a form or in a group of products, these forms are the ones that appear here. And then the products ones, these are what gets triggered individually. So if I set a certain status, it'll do the AI research. If I tell it to rebuild the HTML, I don't know why it's spelled wrong, I thought I fixed that. It'll rebuild the HTML, and then finally it'll push it to Woo, and it'll either it'll merge it into Woo. One thing that's not happening today, and it'll take me about an hour to fix, is to add products to Woo because they're already all in there, and I want to get this working. When I push a product to Woo, I have to push the image to Woo, and the images, the research might say, hey, go to this website and look at the image, but that website has security on it that prevents me from just looking at the image. You have to come in with a web browser and look at it a certain way. So the other thing the image does is if it can't get a clean image to load into Woo, then it goes out to the UPC API, and given the UPC number, that returns an image that I can use 99% of the time. So that's what these flows are doing. We're pulling from Paladin, we're updating the HTML, and then we're doing the research. And it's in depth, and then I create the HTML and I push it out. So let's look at a product and see what that looks like. So let me pull up I'm going to filter on Shimano here. So filter by, where the name contains Shimano. And we have about 163 products. And what you see here is the name of the product, the UPC number, what a command request is, like get AI, get information, create HTML. This is the command that's running right now. Nothing's running. The source record, this is the source from Paladin. The department name, whether AI matched it, whether it was verified, or you'll see other statuses in here, probable, verified or not. Then I have, if it's been pushed to WordPress, I have the product ID and the media ID. So this is the actual product over in WordPress, and then I have the picture over in WordPress. I have a short description, an AI description, list price. This is stuff that's between the AI research and the what comes from Paladin. Let me zoom in on a product and we'll look at it in detail. Let me go to the general step here. So here's a product. It's the Shimano Bait Runner 4000. This is basically the information I get from Paladin. Product name, UPC number, manufacturer part number. As you know, the descriptions in Paladin are very short. 28 characters for the main description, 63 for the description 3. So they don't give me a big description that defines the product. So this is basically what comes over from Paladin. Then I use that to create the AI, and that gives me the research. So I set the command to get AI description. I put ready. I'm not going to do this now. I save it, and it'll go out to AI, and it'll get the following information. First thing it gives me is a confidence score. It's 98% positive. This is pretty good stuff. Sometimes if it can't find much, it'll lower the score and say, hey, maybe it's verified, maybe it's probable, maybe it's ambiguous, maybe they couldn't find anything, or there's some sort of conflict. I'll put a date and time that I did the search. Then AI gives any kind of warnings, what's wrong with this thing, like if there's any kind of, if the product doesn't match the description or something's inconsistent there, it'll put a warning here. This doesn't appear anywhere else, but it's here for research. I get the raw results from AI. This is just a JSON format that has everything that comes back from the AI research. I get a short description. I get paragraphs of descriptions. I get URLs. These are URLs that come back from the research. I get feature list in JSON. This is just an array of features that goes to the website. Specifications for the website. Keywords. I could use these to populate the product for better better searchability from the internet. And then I have a research source. Where did it go to find the description? Again, as I said in my written research, when I start hitting Shimano hard, it blocks me. So do some other competitor websites and things like that. Here's my image source page. Where did I get the image from? What's my primary image? Then a fallback image and a fallback image. And there's a third image here which can appear. If it can't find any of these, then it goes out to the UPC API and gets it from there. Image match, confidence, does the image on the website really look like what the product should look like? Alternate text, again, this would be for the image in WordPress. When you hover over it, it shows. I have here also video relevance, video title, because I've asked it to go out and find like box openings and non-branded or manufactured videos that describe the reel and the URL, so it can put that in the HTML. Next thing we have is the raw HTML, and the formatted. Now this here in this Microsoft backend doesn't really look like it will on the web. This is just basically what it looks like. And you have here title, a short description, a longer description, product features, and product specifications here. And then a video. Maybe this is a spinning reel for the 4000. I thought that might be neat for the web. These other tabs I'm not going to go into. It's just admin, who owns this record. This is a CRM database, really. It's not completely CRM, but it's the basis of Microsoft CRM. So that's what's going on there. That's what I have. I'm going out to AI and I am telling it to do the research, and I'm telling it to format the HTML, and here's my usage for this project. So let's go to usage here and let's open up this date, last 30 days, and for about 500 products, and some writing them over and over and over, so this isn't a good accurate measurement. I've spent $200 now in research and using different AI models. Back to the product. When I do the research, I can tell it which model to choose. If you don't tell it, it uses Luna, which is the least expensive, and medium for the setup. And I don't have to use GPT, I can use Grok or something else, but I don't have this implemented yet, but it's simple too. These are the three models for GPT. Luna is their least expensive, fast one, Terra is middle of the road, and SOL is the high-end expensive one. Then the reasoning effort is low, medium, high. This is basically tells the AI, how many brain cells do you want me to dedicate to this process? If it's 10, it's going to be very fast and cheap, and if it's 1 million brain cells, then it's going to be more expensive. And you'll see that in the usage here, what's going on with the usage and storage and logs and things like that. But that's basically it. I've used 77 million brain cells to date. I'm calling them brain cells. Technically they're tokens, of course, but it's kind of a decent analogy. What's the next step? So the next step is, again, there's 4 processes: getting it from Paladin, getting the AI research, putting it in the product, then we're building the HTML, then we're shoving it off to Woo. Let's go over to Woo and look at it. Now, here's Woo, and here is, I did an example of low AI, medium, and high for these descriptions, but I don't want to use that. I'm going to use just a regular one. I'm in the product page for Shimano. Again, there's about 6,000 products. So let's go to, and some didn't reconcile. I guess they were marked as no longer in service. So these don't have a picture here, but if I go back a few pages, everything will have a picture. And then I know that it's been processed. So here you go. Here's a Sedona. Let's go to the 5,000 and take a look at this product. And again, this is Woo Commerce. This is the product description that came over from the system you just saw. This is the description. This is the product features. This is the specification. And here's a video of doing it. And then here's an image. And this image should match this thing, and it does. So that's what's going on there. Now, that takes us up to, from beginning to end, integrating through WooCommerce and I guess integrating Paladin to WooCommerce. There's more, but I just wanted to document this process so far.